In studio City Mugako hapa, and of course we have the good Professor Fred Ogola. He is now the only, I wanted to say the current, but there is no other one. He is the presidential candidate for the LDP, that is the Liberal Democratic Party. Professor, good morning and welcome back to Radio Generation.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me here with City Muga.
Yes.
The conversations gets bigger, and radio generations will build generations and generations to come.
Yes. There's something we talked about in the first hour. Before we get deep into our politics, I just want to ask something to do with what is happening in Sudan. I don't know if you've come across a statement that has been delivered by the, if I can just find it real quick, the UN Special Advisor on matters to do with genocide in Sudan. He said that the United Nations it is said that the United Nations Special Advisor on the prevention of genocide, Chaloka Bayani, that's his name, he has raised alarm over the escalating conflict in Sudan.
Yes.
Now, the conflict has been ongoing for a while now, months to be specific, but it looks like the UN is now catching up to this particular saga. What do you think about the report that was given yesterday by this special advisor?
By the way, just the day Baba was passing on, I was in South Sudan.
Yeah.
And I met with the who is there. I don't want to mention this name because sometimes it's not fair. I went to SPLM office, which is the ruling party, and we were discussing how the Sudan war is affecting South Sudan. Remember, the outlets for the South Sudan oil is in Sudan. So whenever all this is happening, South Sudan analyzes this in detail. I must say that, first of all, because I mentioned Baba there, they did a moment of silence with me in the office.
And they honored Baba.
They honored him. And I can tell you can't touch him in that part of the world. If you mention something negative, you can't come back here, I'm sure. But the issue we are finding out was that the thing was escalating so much that South Sudan was saying they are happy. They actually left that arrangement because they could be in the mix of it. The war that is taking place there, the death that is being reported, and also remember there is no openness, transparency. The figures we are seeing there are not exact figures. Maybe are reporting just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And one thing that I don't like some of these global institutions, they come in when it is a crisis. They come in, they do postmortem. I mean, we need proactive approaches. We need approaches that prevent more than one things have gone too bad. In fact, the situation in Sudan is so bad. What I'm looking at, the impact, and I'll just give a small statistics. Do you know that 98% of South Sudanese people are illiterate, not educated?
What percentage?
98%.
98?
Yes, 98.
And that's because of war. Because during war, no one goes to school.
Prof, you've said in South Sudan or the Sudan?
I'm giving you statistics of South Sudan to make you know what will happen to Sudan. Whenever there's war, there are so many things that happen when we report dead people. When we report, for example, property destroyed. But we are not reporting what that country will live with for years and years to come. And that's why I've been anti-war. I've been more of peace-driven. Of course, we have Mandamano here, but we had to do that because it was necessary. But war is a different story. Mandamano is just something you go and do. So the situation in Sudan is so bad. People actually are now sleeping hungry there. People cannot get services, the social services, because money now goes to war. You know, when you're spending money on a war, every shilling now, as an economist, I'm discovering that for every shilling that, $11 that Sudan generates, 60 cents goes into either preventing, trying to fight this war, managing war situation, meaning that it's taking away money from social investment like education, healthcare, social protection, and food security. So the impact is not just about mentioning numbers, and that's why I don't sometimes agree too much with the UN, always going for numbers of people who have been killed, property destroyed, but we are not mentioning the actual things that are eating that country. And you know that for now, Sudan will live with that war for another 10 years, even if he stopped today, trying to recover from everything.
It'll be more than
10 years is a long time.
Than 10 years.
Now you can see that City.
It was when I was reading this, he got really worked up.
No, I stopped him because you see, I said I don't want to hear that story. The problem in Sudan and the atrocities have been with us for some time. My annoyance is on one small factor. Yeah. It is this dithering and dilly-dallying that brought about the genocide in Rwanda.
Yeah.
The UN was there before this thing escalated. And the same attitude. So you fact-finding, somebody going there months after the thing has happened, giving a report that is actually historical. People have died, and then you're saying it's going to lead to people dying. They are already dead, and more are dying. So what are you talking about? Rwanda, had the UN done what they were supposed to do, the genocide in Rwanda would not have taken place. So the guy might as well just have shut up. There is nothing he's telling us that is of significance.
Yeah.
Yes, nothing.
And I can tell you, when you go to Sudan, if you want to know a nation is in trouble,
yes,
when you land at the airport, watch carefully. When you see World Food Program planes mostly at that airport, when you see mostly UN planes in that airport, more than passenger planes or any cargo plane, that country is in trouble.
Okay.
When you land in South Sudan, it is more visible that it is the presence of the UN planes carrying food, relief, and the rest, isn't it? If you go to Sudan now, you land in Sudan, maybe if you can even ask statistics, how many planes are landing in Sudan carrying food, carrying relief, all that thing, it shows that country is in trouble. Yeah. When you land in JK, do you see any plane carrying relief food?
No.
When you land, for example, in New York, you land in Boston, you land in UK, we are in trouble. Okay. And when I was making a speech in New York, so fortunately, I was invited to give public lecture in Fordham University. And I was talking before the world-renowned economist in World Trade Center. I was talking to leading economists and financial experts like, you can say, J.P. Morgan. There were over 368 economists and financial heads. And I told them that economic model, the global economic architecture that runs the world is wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong because every country thinks that let me sort out my country, then others will work. Like in Kenya. And I think maybe as Kenyan thinking that this is a South Sudan issue or this is a Sudan issue, Africa cannot progress if only some countries are progressing. Like I give an example. Let's come to East Africa. If Tanzania fails and goes into war and anarchy, while Kenya is being said will be world class, Tanzanians will run to Kenya and will have refugees we cannot handle. So all of us must succeed together as a nation, as a continent. What I call prosperity for all African nations, African people should prosper together. But if now we are saying the Sudan problem is an African problem and it's a global problem.
Okay.
And when the UN thinks that they only come too little, too late is the best way to describe this one.
Yeah.
And I think that UN has intelligence and they have access to anything. Like, for example, if they want to go there, they can have the protection. They can gather the best intelligence anyone can gather. Why don't you use intelligence preventive? Or their work is to go and help failed states. First of all, that if their work is to help failed states, then forever they want state failure so that they become relevant.
Yeah.
And I want to add by saying, when I was in high school, we read a book called Visiki. And this book was about policemen stopping women who are producing changa from cutting the forest. So that was their work.
Right.
Now, the book says why it's called Visiki, that the policemen had to ensure that this thing of producing changa does not stop so that their work remains. So if the UN is there for failed nations, then they pray that nations should continue failing so that they remain relevant. But if the UN was there to clean up the problem, they should go to the root cause of the problem. I'm a Jesuit educated. We believe in Ignatian spirit. Ignatian talked about go to the root cause of the problem.
Okay.
Don't just look at symptoms and treat symptoms, but why are we having this war in the first case in Sudan?
Professor, on that note, I am glad you brought it up. You want to be a president.
Yes.
An East African president of an East African country.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We hear of manifestos that presidential candidates and people who are party leaders have. We hear of the things they want to do to change the country. People talk of a certain small island nation very, very often with reference to an island nation that is comparable to a big town, really.
Yeah.
And people talk about the things they want to do and how they want to change.
Singapore.
Yes. Now he has decided to give name to that small island nation. You aren't the only person who wants or has put across the notion that they would want to lead the nation of Kenya.
Yes.
Okay. You have the benefit of having been a professor of economics. Now you are somebody who understands resources better than most people.
Yes.
And you understand why it is that that particular discipline exists.
Yes.
The understanding of the scarcity of these resources and the need we have from a political perspective of how this should be used equitably for the benefit of citizens. Now, part of the problems we have in the country is that that is not what is happening.
Yeah.
Tell us about this party, because presidential candidates tend to belong to parties. If you have a party, why this particular party? And tell us what it is that you are thinking of doing. If it isn't different, then don't bother saying it, because you will be repeating what we have heard before and what some of us are fairly tired of hearing. So, over to you, Professor.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much, City Moga. You know, whenever I come to this studio, I actually know there will be a shocker. And you have not disappointed this morning. Yeah. By the way, let me tell Kenyans that I am humbly putting myself as a presidential candidate.
Yes.
Not because somebody has failed, not because there's hatred, just because I love my country and I believe I have a solution for this country. So we start by, why LDP? LDP ilikuwa chama ya baba, but baba alituacha kwa hiyo chama. So having said that, I was registering a party called the Kima Alliance. I've been approached by
what?
A Kima Alliance party.
Oh, Hekima.
Hekima, yes.
Hekima, yes.
Okay.
Hekima means wisdom. And I mean that wisdom is needed in this country more than anything else. I've heard people saying the Mara, they want to call their coalition Kenya Kwanza, Nini, those coalitions, Azimio. You've heard those names. But this country needs wisdom. And when you're asking the question of Singapore, that's where wisdom beats everything. And that's where the difference is. First of all, LDP, tell me it belongs to which tribe? Kenya needs unity. Which tribe owns LDP? Nobody. And LDP is not owned by any individual. Even Fred Ogola doesn't own it. LDP is owned by members. It has a national face. It's run by technocrats, not tumbocrats, which will be more or less based on meritocracy. When you talk about Singapore, merits is the most important thing. But we have parties run by oligarchy. Oligarchy is whereby whom you know, how much money they have matters. But meritocracy is about what takes you up is talent. What takes you up is hard work. What takes you up is your skill. That's why this Fred Ogola was born in Kibra and was living in a tin house. But moving from tin house, he was able to acquire a house in Lavington. I'm not saying this to show you I live in Lavington, but I'm telling you, the journey from Kibra to Lavington is physically very short. But mentally, psychologically, very long. That's why I had to leave Kenya, fly to the US, go study there. You cross the Pacific Ocean, the longest or the largest ocean in the world and deepest. You cross over the Atlantic, and sometimes even you have to go through the Amazon. So what I'm trying to say here is that we need a party which is more concerned about what we want to do. And let me tell you talk about manifesto. In LDP, we don't believe in manifesto. In fact, as a presidential candidate, you'll never see me launching something called manifesto. Why? I'm an economist. I know manifestos are political propagandas. They end up to nothing. You hear somebody say the plan. What is it? Isn't it? Azimio talked about inawezekana. Nini inawezekana sasa? So we don't want propaganda. At LDP, we live in prototype. What's a prototype? A prototype begins exactly what we are trying to say.
A concept, a proven concept.
Yeah. Before I came here interviewing a doctor, and a doctor, there's a problem in healthcare.
Yes.
Let me just use only healthcare to solve the problem, to explain to you what a prototype is. A prototype begins with about empathy. Where is healthcare is? You gather all the professionals from the health fraternity. You bring medical doctors, you bring nurses, you bring owners of hospital, suppliers of medicine equipment, public sector, all the players together to explain to you what problem are they facing as different people from their own perspective. That's the first thing. The second thing about define the problem. After they have explained their issues, we can together with them define the problem that now is national, not your sector, not your profession and the rest. After defining the problem, now we come with ideas called ideation. Which ideas can now solve this problem? Again, they generate those ideas from the team as a team. Not that Fred knows also and so knows. Once you have done that ideation, you come up with a prototype. That's the blueprint to solve that problem. Once you come with that blueprint, you go to testing. You go test it in a small population, for example, a county or a sub-county, whatever that is.
So you do like a pilot.
A pilot. Yeah. Once you finish your pilot, you go and implement. Then after implementing, anything after implementation, inakwanga na shida moja mbili tatu. So you go back again and ask them, okay, after we implement this, what's the problem? So that is our way of doing things. So different from the so-called manifesto. They are just piece of paper. And I can tell anybody trying to run, if you want to come to LDP as a candidate, prepare for us a prototype. If you want to become an MP, come with a prototype for your constituency. Don't tell us about manifestos. I'll do healthcare, roads. There's a road passing next to my home that has made 50 MPs. Every MP says, Ntajenga hii barabara, and they're MPs. We do not want to listen to such like things. What is a prototype for building roads? Let me go a little bit to what the president did the other day, just to tell you how this works. The president went even late in the night to launch affordable housing, which is cool, isn't it?
Yes.
Overworking up to midnight, isn't it? But let's come here. What is the economic problem Kenya is facing, City Muga? The Kenyan problem is facing high debt. Secondly, high unemployment. Thirdly, high interest rate, isn't it? Fourth is balance of trade. We are importing too much and exporting little. Do you know affordable housing is going to increase the interest rate? Do you know that? Do you know by affordable housing, we are going to increase the national debt? Because we are not collecting more because of this house levy.
Yes.
Kenyans are borrowing more. We are borrowing money, isn't it? You are killing the private sector with this house levy, these taxes you're putting on people to build houses.
Yes.
For you to build houses, you have to import so much, steel, everything.
Must we import all that?
But we are not manufacturing. That's just see. We are mostly importing.
May I ask?
Yes.
We do not produce enough materials with which you can put up the sort of structures that we are referring to.
Yes. So I'm saying by his model of building affordable housing is to increase import without increasing export.
The model that we are using.
Yes, the current model.
Are we therefore saying that it is possible to have built these houses using materials
that's where I'm going.
Okay, fine.
His model is increasing more import, not export. While I've said one problem is balance of trade. When there's balance of trade and you're importing more, you've introduced a model that imports more than export, you're creating more problems. So interest rates will go up. We will have less foreign exchange, isn't it? The Kenyan shilling will be weaker. Under our model, we shall come with a prototype, isn't it? The prototype is more of the first thing. We are actually believing that we need to create jobs. So anything you are doing should be around creating jobs, not putting Kenyans to work in the construction site. Because when you tell someone to work in the construction site, that's not a job. That is not a job. It's a casual job. I know that people say kazi ni kazi, isn't it? But let me tell you what, my brother. Do you give birth to a child hoping they work in a construction site? That's your dream. When your child drops from your womb, isn't it?
Yeah.
A mother says, huyu atakuwa nafanya kazi kwa barabara. He will be carrying a spade, isn't it? And carrying a wheelbarrow. No. So why don't you create jobs of the dream of the parents? When we are taken to university, you see, like say I was a keynote speaker, a chief guest in a graduation, and I was talking about job creation. Those people graduating with degrees and the rest, you pay them school fees for 4 years. Then you want them to work on Rironi, Mau Summit Road with a wheelbarrow, isn't it? Carrying kokoto. No. They are dreaming to become doctors. They are dreaming to become professors. They are dreaming to become engineers. So we cannot work in this way of saying construction of affordable housing, italeta kazi kwa vijana. Kujenga barabara, we want Kenya to become a workshop of the world. That's what China
Prof,
is.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What happens to the folks who are not engineers or doctors, because
or teachers
for that matter? What happens? They do not have any skill. I know I have cousins who didn't drop out shule mahali katikati. They do not. So where do they go to?
Go back to
in
school.
our prototype, all that can be taken care of.
Yeah.
If I ask you, do you know why Apple manufactures its products in China?
It's cheaper to produce them there.
Why cheaper?
Labor is cheaper?
No.
Why do they do it?
If I ask you, if it's cheaper, go produce things in Somalia. The labor in Somalia is cheaper than China.
Okay.
The minimum wage in Kenya is 19,000 shillings, isn't it? The minimum
on
wage...
paper.
Yes, but the minimum wage in China is 110,000, isn't it? So where should you produce? Should come to Kenya. Why? The thing is that we are going to have a model, again a prototype, to improve our education system to be job-facing rather than certificate-facing.
Okay.
You get me?
Yeah.
So in China, if you ask people who can, you see you have a phone there, I don't know what is your phone, but let's say it's a Samsung phone, isn't it? Do you know there's somebody called tooling engineers? A tooling engineer is not an engineer who knows how to draw this house, draw beautiful things, but they know how to put the chips of a phone together.
Okay.
And that's done through vocational training. Through vocational training, you create people, somebody can just put a phone together.
So they know where to put the screen, the diodes.
That's what you need to show these people. And when I become president, it won't hurt me to go partner with China to put our vocational training here on how to manufacture a phone. I can go to Korea. So these things are saying, kazi maju nini. No, we don't need to export anybody here.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we will have an education system which produces people who are job ready. And that needs a prototype. What do I mean here? If I go, for example, to Safaricom and tell them, you guys are importing phones, then sell them through Safaricom shop, isn't it? How can we partner together to create, let's say, vocational training where we have these phone manufacturers coming to Nairobi? We give them incentives on how to manufacture these phones from Nairobi, then you can sell them here. You know what I mean?
You've already sold me at manufacturing. I've already sold.
So that is the prototype we are talking about.
Yeah.
When you produce, let me tell you what, first you have foreign exchange. The Kenya shilling will be in high demand, so much so people want to buy it, and the Kenya shilling will be very strong that it can actually go to $1, 180 Kenya shillings, something like that. I don't want to say the number because I don't want to throw numbers because it has to be modeled. Secondly, we'll find that we shall cure the issue of inflation, because when you're producing more than you can consume, the supply demand lowers inflation, isn't it? Unemployment will be gone. There will be nobody wishing to do mandamano. But with what we are seeing now, these guys, let me tell you what, they have no clue about how to solve the economy. And let me just end to tell you how they don't know how to solve the economy. You had the president saying that he wants to take Kenya to first class. No, forget about Singapore for now.
Okay.
World class from third, first world from third world, isn't it?
Right.
Do you know the origin of that first world, third world thing?
All I know is that it is kind of derogatory, but
let me tell you, during the Cold War, you either align with the USA and capitalism and you became first world, isn't it? If you aligned with USSR and communism, you are second world. So anybody who opposed those two streams were called third world. So as we speak now, even Japan is third world because they opposed USSR and USA. You get me?
Yes.
Even Singapore is third world. Even Korea is third world. So who informed the president to make such a mistake? When he was making this statement, I was in New York. They were telling me, Professor, you're talking here, you're a Kenyan who knows economics. Look at what your president is saying. He's saying he wants to take us to first world. Do you know, my brother, if you go to France and you ask for French fries, they don't know French fries. You see, you Kenyan who know what a French fries is.
Yeah, they are just fries.
For them, they don't know this is French fries. When you go to Spain and say, I want Spanish omelette, they wonder. Like you see, Muga, I used to travel with students from Strathmore to Spain. Then they go to a restaurant and says, I want to take Spanish omelette. Then the Spanish ask them, what is that? So there are so many dark things we put in our head as Africans, that I'm telling Kenyans, think like an African. Be proud. Don't start buying people's concepts. Those things have been used to blackmail us, like modernism. To be a modern man, you need to put on a suit like a tie like me.
Yeah.
You take sugar, isn't it?
Wear certain shoes.
Right. But you are being put like that so that they can sell for you shoes, they sell for you clothes, they sell for you sugar. We have been brainwashed. We want to go back to think like a typical Kenyan. And let us follow pragmatism. You understand?
Prof, how does a typical Kenyan think?
Be pragmatic. For example, City, when you're being told you're being taken to Singapore, isn't it? A flight to Singapore is how many hours? 8 hours, isn't it? Let us not talk about Singapore. Let us say, can we just fly from here, even just to Johannesburg, isn't it? Let us not go too far.
That's 4 hours.
Isn't it? That's 2 hours flight, isn't it?
It's a 4 hour
4 hours, isn't it? Why do you want to take an 8 hour flight? Even when they took a man to the moon.
Yes.
The first thing Apollo demonstrated that you can fly from the Earth to Mercury. Say, wow. Now we are in Mercury, we can actually go to the other stage, isn't it?
Right.
I want to tell a story that once was told by Kalonzo Musyoka.
Right.
When Kalonzo Musyoka was vying for president for the first time, he said that the reason why I can be president is that I'm the one who helped the peace between Sudan so that Sudan can have peace. So he says, if I can make Sudan peaceful, can't I make Kenya peaceful? And he compared this, that there's a time when a Maasai man and a Mzungu went to climb Mount Kenya. So there's a Maasai who went to climb Mount Kenya, and a Mzungu went to climb Mount Kenya. When they reached at the camp, they were told there's only one room available because all the other houses are full. So they're told there's one room available because they didn't come as couples. They were from different parts. They were told, if you don't mind, can you share this room for today? Then they say, yeah, we don't mind. They're told, by the way, can you share this bed together? They say, yeah, there's no problem sharing a bed. So they say, let's put a pillow in the middle to prevent anybody from crisscrossing, isn't it? So when the pillow was put, they slept until morning. Then the Maasai man woke up and stretched his arms and said, wow, I can now climb Mount Kenya. Then the Mzungu said, if you can't climb a pillow, can you climb Mount Kenya?
Aye.
Now, the analogy here, the moral lesson here is, if you can't fly to Johannesburg, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you fly to Singapore?
Professor.
If there's no food on the table, I'm not sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, there's no food on the table for Kenyans. Kenyans are dying of hunger. SHA can't work. Is not working and won't work. You get me? No. It's working for you, isn't it?
Not even for me. SHA has problems, but it works.
It is working for him. Working for him means it was meant to make money for him. It's working. And let me tell you what, City Muga, when you say that, I've sat in the board of the Archdiocese of Nairobi on healthcare for 17 years, overseeing all the 63 facilities in Kenya, in Nairobi. One in St. Mathieu Mulumba in Thika.
These are now the Catholic Church.
Yes, I want to explain to you why I'm telling you SHA is not working. Mater Hospital, I've been there, isn't it? Overseeing how they work. The biggest data in our books all through is SHA. You understand? So I came out with the strategy when I was working with John Cardinal Njue,
right,
to set up a medical scheme for the church called CariMed, Caritas Medical, CariMed. We've launched that card. So when that card was launched, we had a board meeting. And we passed that we are now going to go full blast on marketing. Bishop Anyolo now was the chair, isn't it? Okay. So we had been reappointed again after that very long period, isn't it? So I went on TV. It's called Science TV. And I said, we want CariMed to replace SHA. That was on a Monday. On a Tuesday, the bishop called me. I was in a board meeting in the bishop's office. The president and the ministers were threatening even the life of the board members. You understand? I have to resign from that board so that they can work, because they feel threatened that I'm coming with a medical strategy on how the Catholic Church members plus any other Kenyan can buy that card and then get treatment from all Catholic facilities in Nairobi. He feels threatened because of that, isn't it? Now, why should I be fired from a board? I've worked for 17 years and made impact. Because you can't sit in a board for 17 years and doing nothing. Now, this is the second one. I was in Strathmore. I said the economic model he has will not work, isn't it? Okay. I lost my job because of that. I was fired by him. Replaced by his brother-in-law, isn't it? Now in the board, I have to leave because I'm saying the truth.
Prof,
you get me?
I have to ask.
So if you are telling me you want to go to Singapore, Singapore was gone by the best and brightest of that country, isn't it?
Prof, let's hear what I have to ask. I understand the president can bring influence to bear on bodies such as the ones you belong to. Who employs people at Strathmore?
Strathmore is a private university and is not employed by him.
No. Who employs people at Strathmore? Which entity is responsible?
The University Council.
The University Council. So essentially you're saying that there was pressure brought to bear on the council to get you sacked.
Yeah.
That can happen. That, I understand, can happen. 17 years as a board member, I have a problem with that. Why 17 years? Were there no other people who could actually work in that board? 17 years is too long.
Actually, City, I've been saying I want to leave, isn't it? But there's a project after a project, isn't it? Another thing is that, sorry to say this, it's so difficult to find in one person someone who understands strategy, who understands health economics. What's not just economics, but also health economics. What's health economics? The problem in SHA is simply health economics. It doesn't math. The arithmetic for how you can have people who cannot access insurance, medical insurance, isn't it, can be able to access SHA with that magnitude. Can't help. Healthcare has to be free. I'm telling you.
What you need to ask is, for you to be a board member in that institution, is it a position that you apply for then you're given, or how do they decide?
Actually, let me tell you another thing. The Catholic Church works with what it's called obedience, isn't it? Let me ask you, my brother, if the cardinal asks me,
he's a Catholic, so
if my bishop asks me, sit in this board, isn't it? But can you say no?
No.
Can I disobey my bishop?
I wouldn't say no.
I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
And I've always asked him, Bishop, consider me for other work. But you see, I was a chair of the board of St. Francis Mission Hospital in Kasarani. I did 6 years, isn't it? Then 3 years. Then I resigned from it. They allowed me. Remember, is that when I was being appointed by the sisters? Yes. Isn't it? I just say, sister, please. So we need some people to bring other ideas. Let me go, isn't it? But here, we were appointed. Then, of course, what happened to John Kanyonjo? He got unwell, isn't it? He had to step down. So it took time in transition that we were not even meeting. So when the bishop came back and looked at the table and said, Fred Ogola was here, so-and-so was here, we were recalled back. But now I have resigned. I explained the issue is I don't want to endanger my board members with the threat coming from the state. And also I have believed that SHA doesn't work, isn't it? Why should I sit on board and then create chaos? For whatever benefit I could have been getting. By the way, there's no benefit. It's voluntary. So even if you sit for 7 years, you're the one suffering. I am not being paid, isn't it? There's no payment, but you volunteer. We enjoy, can you imagine after 3 months, you are sitting there with the cardinal, isn't it? And of course, after that, there's a prayer. I don't think there's something bigger than that. You can pay me 100,000 shillings, but if you sit there, you get the counsel of a bishop and a cardinal, you go to heaven, man. But of course, it has given me opportunities. Now, I wrote a document called Salus Plena. That's Spanish, Latin. I speak Latin. Salus Plena is called Total Health. That document was launched by Pope Francis. Can you imagine if you are the architect or an author of a document launched by the Pope? Those are blessings that might give me heaven, isn't it? Which other thing do you want in this world? We are in this world preparing to go to heaven, isn't it? Well, if you have a chance to serve where you can go to heaven, why should you resign? Should you resign from where you can go to heaven? And there's a Psalms 129 which says that I am happy to be in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. If you die in church, you go to heaven. Do you know that? That Sunday, after you confess your sins, you're sitting there in church. Should you die there, City Muga?
Mbinguni straight.
It is straight, just like that thief Jesus took to heaven. So it's lovely to be there, my brother. I would not mind 50 years.
Someone is asking here on YouTube, show us what you have done in very many words so that they can consider you for the position of president.
But that's what he's doing. That's what
I'm just telling him what has been
Yes,
said.
but that fellow ought to listen a little more keenly. If somebody serves for 17 years in a certain position, maybe we need to ask the details of what that was. He pinpointed the issue of this card, this health initiative that came about and which had been accepted. Now, that was with reference to SHA, because I asked a very, very specific question, and he said, this is what we had come up with. Okay? Now, somebody who can come up with a scheme that, if it can help members of the faith of the Roman Catholic Church, call it a huge pilot. It means if it serves them well, it can serve the whole country.
Another question here or comment. Ask the wonderful professor, this government has been in power for 3 years. Does it mean before this government, the last 14 years, medicine and health services were perfect in those institutions?
No, the issue here, let's not go into saying whether Ruto is perfect or not. Let's ask, what can he do that he's not doing? Let me tell you what, I'm not saying that because Ruto is not doing well, then Uhuru was okay. No. These people have been running our country as if they are not Kenyans. You understand? Uhuru left us with NHIF. And that's why City Muga. I've heard some people saying they're running for president. Then they're saying when they become president, they're going to abolish affordable housing. That's not a strategic guy. He does not know what he's saying. You had some people saying when they take over government, they'll abolish SGR. No. This SGR, this affordable housing, this SHA has already in your stomach. It's like you have swallowed poison, isn't it? You can't vomit it. But how do you deal with it? That's what you should do. Someone says, I'll abolish SHA. No. If you abolish SHA and launch SHU, what about the people who are owed money on SHA? You get me? So I talk about a prototype. Come out with a prototype and see, where is SHA? Like now, I'm a deputy vice chancellor in Uzima University, isn't it? We are owed 4.8 billion shillings in pending bills, isn't it?
By
the government. 4.8 billion.
Okay.
Kwea is owed 6.8, isn't it? Kemu is owed something like 5.2 billion.
How are they owed this money by the government?
You see, for example, when they came to say, train for us medical professionals who will go abroad, isn't it? That's now I talk about a Uzima University, where I'm a DVC. So we train those health professionals. First of all, they never went to Germany. They never went abroad, isn't it?
Why?
And
They were trained.
They were trained to go to Germany.
And they were prepared
to go to Germany.
And whatever training they got would have been acceptable in Germany.
Yes, But the government was...
So all that remained was for them to be transported to Germany.
But the government had promised they have a deal with the German government. And when he promised this deal, the German government went on media and corrected. That is not the deal. Go to the media. It's there in the media, isn't it?
I am heading there. That is what I was trying to ask.
So now, we train these people. We were given a letter of undertaking, isn't it? Do the following.
Which ministry was in charge of all this?
Say health. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that the issue is that we are owed money. So when you become president, you cannot say, let me abolish affordable housing. Like now, do you know what has cost affordable housing? I was in Nyahururu. I went to the site. I was dressed like in a t-shirt. I was running, so I looked like a small boy who was asking innocent questions. And they told me the main scandal in affordable housing, that's why the president is passionate about it, is that for a site which is 2 billion, the actual money they are getting is 800 million.
So there's 1.2 billion.
Yes, so the president is talking about it because he's eating money from affordable housing. Fault me. I can explain to him. Let him tell us site by site how much money has been allocated to that site. And I'll tell him how much money those people are receiving. So if you are doing a site, you'll be told this site we have on paper in State House is 1.2 billion. Isn't it? But the person who is receiving the money to do the project could be getting 600 million.
Can I ask a question?
So
Prof?
the housing here, there's a big corruption that is happening here that you can't believe.
Prof, can I ask a question?
So I'm finishing. So if some people have not been paid even the money they used to supply to build affordable housing, then you come as well and say, let me abolish it. You're also killing Kenyans without knowing. Okay. So a government is what's called continuity, a going concern. Right. When you inherit a government, you inherit plus its problems. Don't say, let me throw away this problem, it's not mine. It is a government problem. As a president, you have to start from where Kenyans are and where they need to be.
All right, City.
The question I want to ask, Prof, is when we talk of the figures that are received by the developers, and the sum total which is stated as having been allocated for the project, are we saying that the 800 million is a sum total that is actually received for the entirety of the project? Or were we saying that at the point when you asked the question, that is the amount that had been received for the projects?
That is, when you're doing a project, you cannot be told just what you're going to receive. You're not just told what you're receiving. The budget, let me tell you, there are two budgets, isn't it? There is one which is with the person developing, and there is the one that the government is reporting. You understand me? The government, whatever they finish a project now, the ones they launched yesterday, isn't it? If it was a 2 billion project by the government figures, isn't it? The spending could have been 800 million. You get me? Which means corruption.
Right. I had asked when I made your intro, I want you to tell us what you're going to do. I do not want you to tell us what the government has not done, because we also live in this country and we know. Tell us what you want to do different, please. So, if you belong to a party called LDP, what is this thing that will endear me as E.T. Muga to LDP as opposed to many of the other parties that exist in the country?
So first of all, this government needs to be disrupted. We cannot run this government that has been run. To disrupt, to do the following. What are the main Kenyan problems, City? We don't start by just what will I do. Corruption is a problem.
No, it isn't. Corruption is not a problem.
Okay, for me, it's a problem.
The problem is impunity. Corruption is the manifestation of impunity.
Okay, so impunity is the problem. How will I kill that? When I become president, and people have been telling me not to say it, but I will say it because that's what I believe I'll do, isn't it? The first thing is that anybody who has more than 2 billion shillings, isn't it? We freeze that account, not taking them to EACC, and they explain how they got the other money is when they get that money back. We're not taking people's money. That's the first thing. Taking us to EACC is a washing machine. That's why EACC is 200 meters from State House. Can you believe it, my brother City Muga? EACC receives a budget of 3.9 billion per year to operate, isn't it? They have operated for 15 years. That means they have forked 58.5 billion shillings in their operation, isn't it? And they have recovered 28 billion. You tell me how you can use 58.5 billion to recover 28 billion, and the corruption in Kenya in total is 6.7 trillion. When will they recover that money? So these things of EACC, it will be dead day one. EACC is the most useless thing ever manufactured in Kenya, because the corrupt people go there, they get cleaned. That I was cleared by EACC. Remember also, anybody running for office in Kenya is cleared by EACC, including the biggest thief in the country. The name you know yourself. You understand me? All MPs are cleared in EACC. All ministers are cleared in EACC. EACC is a sham that must end day one. Secondly, what I'll do differently, my brother, when I get to office, I will not go to live in State House. In fact, from swearing in, I'll live elsewhere. The military will tell me where. You understand me? But
why the military?
Of course.
We have a protocol that we follow when it comes
those
to
protocols is a problem. I'm talking about disruption. State House must be converted into a museum for people to use even for innovation. I'll create a youth hub for innovation in State House. You understand? People don't know how that relic looks like. Can you imagine someone is telling me that in 40 days you spend 3.8 billion shillings in State House? How can a president have 26 state houses that you live in Nairobi? You can live. Those things should be used even for what I would call retreat centers, isn't it? Run by organizations like religious organization for retreats. We don't need those things.
So where would
in
you
Germany,
live as
how many
president?
state houses are there? We want to be Singapore, isn't it? How many state houses are in Singapore?
I don't know.
Do you know that German Chancellor Angela Merkel lives in an apartment? While for us, we live in a castle. Why should you live in a castle? How many beds do you need in the country that somebody has 26 beds at a given time, while a Kenyan is sleeping on a mat?
Okay,
then you tell them you're their president.
We've gotten.
So I'm saying we will
disrupt.
do serious disruption.
How will this disruption help the life of the Mwananchi? How will the Mwananchi's life suddenly improve?
Let me tell you,
disruption?
If we spend 3.8 billion shillings in 40 days in state-out expenditure, isn't it? That money will go to education. That money will go to health.
3.8 billion.
In 40 days. Every 40 days, State House spends 3.8 billion.
Let's make it 4 billion. So if we multiply it by 12, that's 48 billion.
Yes.
By 12 months, that's 48 billion.
Yes. And that money can go directly in giving free healthcare. You understand me? We have a prototype on how to create 100,000 jobs per county in the 42 counties that qualify, just by manufacturing.
What do you need to qualify?
We are going to use agriculture. So counties like Kiambu cannot give you 50,000 acres, which can be used at a go, because we want to do large scale agriculture. So Kiambu, Vihiga, Nairobi, Mombasa, you eliminate. There are like 7 counties we have eliminated. Only 42 can qualify to give you at least 50,000 acres that you can use, because we want to do agriculture for export. And we will give 2 youths jobs per county.
Why are you focusing on export instead of internal food security? Why export when we have people who cannot even afford to be fed on a daily basis?
I know very well that that will have a faster impact in the current economic situation we have. For example, our debt situation will be solved immediately.
How?
Actually, someone is asking about the debt. Ameuliza, can he state explicitly how he's going to tackle the debt issue and corruption in our institutions?
So I said debt issue will be solved by manufacturing, so that we have more money into the economy than need to borrow. Secondly,
Prof.
No.
You're an economist. You have to do better than that. You cannot make a blanket statement like manufacturing will solve the debt problem. No, you have to explain what you mean and how that will even begin to impact, and the amount of monies that we will generate and how it will bring about the change.
Let me explain to you. With producing 100,000 jobs per county, we have said we can pay these people a minimum of 30,000 per month, isn't it? If you do that number, you multiply by 42 counties, in PAYE only, you'll be generating 9,000 per person. If you multiply 9,000 times 100,000 times 42 counties, and you take away that money, you'll be generating 1.89 trillion. That money will stop us from borrowing. You get me? First of all, my main concern is that when you are bleeding, the first thing is stop the bleeding. So the first aid will be generate money to stop borrowing. Because if you say, I'm going to pay debt, and you are paying debt and you are still borrowing, it's like you're digging a hole to fill a hole. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Secondly, City Muga, this one you can go tell Mbadi today, and I can solve them. I've written a proposal to Treasury. I've written to them, and they have refused to reply on how to do debt cancellation for development. You understand? I made a paper in the G20 that took place in South Africa, and I told them that Africa is spending 69 cents from every dollar that they produce in revenue. That is killing social investment. Why don't we do debt cancellation from World Bank, IMF, to ensure we can solve this issue? I have a project how to do that. There's called debt swap for development, whereby someone tells you, instead of paying me 69 cents per dollar, remove 30 cents, but put that money on food security. It's been negotiated. I have the paper. I sent this paper to Treasury. Hawataki kutana. Wanasema ni Fred Ogola. Me, I'm not even saying I'm waiting when I become president. I'm giving them the solutions now, but they don't want to take. So these people are not interested to do what Kenyans want. The solutions are there. Lastly,
the solutions you've come up with, have you peer reviewed them even with your colleagues just to ask, am I crazy when I propose this?
I'll tell you, I'll show you in camera, isn't it?
Yeah.
I sent to someone working in Treasury who told me this is a great proposal. I'm giving the number of the PA of John Badi. He's not responded to me.
Okay.
I'll show you those messages written. You understand?
Okay.
Like now, the other project I have now is that I've come up with a model, the prototype, on how to offer emergency care using what you call medical hub. Even someone from my network in New York is ready to donate a helicopter. You understand? So that when there's emergency, I'll show you all these things. Are they willing to take them? No. They don't want to solve Kenyan problem. They want where they are making money. When you meet a politician, it's not how much money. Had I told them, if you come here, the first check will go to you, which is 100 million, they will have come. Isn't it? But I don't do those things. I don't do brown envelopes. My envelopes must be white. You understand? That's how corruption ends. All envelopes must be white. So these solutions are existing right now. And what's happening? I'm doing it for other countries. That's why you saw me, I was in Juba, meeting the mighty there people, because they are willing to listen. I'm doing this for Rwanda, isn't it? I'm doing this for Ethiopia. You get me? Okay. But my own country, I'm not given a chance to solve its problem. And let me tell you what, maybe Mr. President, you are listening to me. Please, let me tell you what, the Kenyan problem is affecting Kenyans now. Anybody saying they want to solve it in 2027 is a liar. Because the person dying of hunger is dying of hunger today. The person in the cold is in the cold today. That person without a clothes does not have a clothes today. A child who can go to school is going to miss school in January, not in 2027. And that's why my proposals are not when I become. No, they're about now. That's why the person asking there, what has Fred Ogola done? Go to Strathmore. The Institute of Healthcare Management was among the people set it up in Strathmore. Lesiampe was my student there, isn't it? Lesiampe he was a CEO of NH or KNH. Yeah. He was under scholarship. That's why when Lesiampe went to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Hospital as the CEO, I went there, he told me, Professor, please welcome, let's have a cup of tea. You really developed me. That's when Lesiampe became a PS. When you sit here, you can count the names of people who have made impact in their lives who are making impact in Kenya. James Mwangi was my student. Do you want me to continue? Paul Russo of KCB was my student. I mentored him, isn't it? Even help him how to look for solutions for the bank. Go to housing finance. You go to Robert Kibara. He was my student. I was actually sitting and telling, if you want to become a CEO of housing finance, this is the problem you need to solve. Present to the board, this is the problem, you'll become the CEO. He is the CEO. I can talk about 37 CEOs who are passed through my hands and became CEO. So what I'm trying to say here is, I want to end by saying a teacher can be a better trusted president than any other. Okay. The examples are clear. Julius Nyerere. You know Senghor was a teacher, isn't it? Go to Mwai Kibaki. He was a teacher, isn't it? There's a heart of a teacher. That's why we trust our children with teachers. Okay. And our children trust teachers more than parents.
All right. Prof, we've come to the end of the show. Citi, you wanted to say something? All right.
I know how to get hold of the Prof.
Yeah.
I will get hold of him and we'll talk somewhere.
It is in about, 42 counties?
Yeah.
Manufacturing industries.
Yes.
In about 42 counties.
Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple that you don't see that, that model working for.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something in regards to the northeastern region, a region that has been marginalized for quite a long time.
Yeah.
What is your plan for that population?
So, you know that you see this problem about the issue of the lack of peace, the kind of wars taking place.
Yes.
Remember where this North Kenya coming from? There were people who are doing farmers, isn't it? You know, they do the camel business, isn't it?
Pastoralists, yes.
So the model there is to get a 50,000 acre and do a ranch. You understand?
Yes.
Even the one I'm talking about, some counties we shall be doing avocado. But some counties we have a model where we shall be doing ranches for the Maasai community, isn't it? So we can ensure that cattle production is highly commercially viable. You don't normally go to a county and dictate to them. Our mantra at LDP is hekima mashinani, rasilimali mashinani, matunda mashinani.
Okay.
I don't know that all our listeners understand Swahili, but hekima mashinani means you go to Northeastern and you sit with them. They have their wisdom, how they have been feeding their population, how they have been growing. Then you use that local wisdom with the local resources they have, and you help them produce, and they get what's called the fruits of that. So our model is not based that Fred knows. Actually, if you like, we shall just choose 3 things per county, which we have done. Like now, I'll send you something I've written, which is 42 pages of 3 things per county. Even your county, I can tell you what I think is the most viable thing in that county.
Come from Kitui,
Come from Kitui, yes. I can show you 3 things you can do from, for example, Kitui, you guys produce sand, isn't it? You have no roads. I'll move from Kitui rural. No. I move from Kitui Central to Kitui Rural. You know where the road ends? I went in a suit. The time I reached the place I was going, I was dusty like you have no idea, isn't it? But you see the conversations going on between the president and Kalonzo. I don't want to go there.
Right.
But I'm trying to say is that you also have opportunities for manufacturing that area. You have this thing, they talk about the issue of honey, isn't it?
Yes, we do.
How can you export your honey? So you take 3 things and you do for the Kitui people. The same thing you take for...
We also have Ndengu, by the way.
Yes. Ndengu. Like, for example, do you know the county that can beat other counties faster than any other county? Is Migori.
Okay.
There is no better county.
Which one?
Migori.
Migori.
Yes. Tell me any county that has gold, has fish, and has sugarcane. Just tell me which county that is having all those kind of resources. Migori has gold, minerals,
fish?
Isn't it? It has fish, isn't it? And it can do very well on sugarcane.
Kisumu County.
Huh? Yeah. Kisumu.
Kakamega County.
So can you imagine Migori looking like Kisumu?
Kakamega gonna fish?
Yes.
But do they have gold?
Yes.
Do they have sugarcane?
Yes.
So the counties like those ones are counties that can become industrialized in a minute. But we are having somebody you are building for them houses, and there are no jobs for people. And I want to ask you, my brother, do you know the one thing that LDP is promising everybody?
Tell me.
Is a job. Everybody. And this is possible. I'm talking about 100,000 per county. There's a time we talked about 200,000. Then I was told by one engineer, Fred, there are no, if you do 200, you might find there's a surplus of jobs. So let's just
100,000 per county.
Yes.
Assuming that there are only 100,000 people in the county who do not have jobs. Is that what one is assuming?
We start with that. You know, also, if you...
Why do we start with that? Why... You started well when you're talking about understanding the potential that the counties have and building on it. And what I liked, and it was music to my ears, is looking at the cultural heritage of all these counties.
Yes.
And looking at how they went about the business of feeding themselves and getting along with life. For me, that was a sheer symphony. Somebody has decided to think about what it is that works and then beginning to meet people at the point of not need only, but of understanding. Why the figure 100,000?
No,
you are doing very well.
Those
got to 100,000.
Muga, those are direct jobs. For example,
what is a direct job, Professor?
A direct job is a job you've created for people. For example, if I said I'm employing 100,000 youth per county, each earning a minimum of 30,000 per month. By the way, City Muga, we have written a bill. The bill we have drafted, how to even incorporate that in the education system. I've written a bill about it. A prototype is not a manifesto. A prototype is designed well. How you incorporate. So what I'm trying to say, once I've created young people, 30,000 people, 100,000 people earning 30K per month, isn't it? That's a direct job. Now, what is a direct job? They'll have a driver probably. They might have a house help, if you like, isn't it? Somebody can now set up a place to sell clothes.
What will they be doing in order to be able to raise the money to pay all these people we are talking about? What will they be doing?
We are producing.
What will you be producing?
For example, I've said there's where we are producing avocado, isn't it? There's a place I'm telling you we can do ranches, isn't it?
We are already producing avocado. There are places that already
not
have
the way
ranches.
we are doing it. We are not doing it in large scale. That's why I'm talking about 50,000 acre at a go. We are having 2 young people supervising per acre. They are not digging because we are going to mechanize it, isn't it? So these 2 young people are just supervising, 1, the planting period, isn't it? Two, the issue of ensuring that there is what you call weeding and the rest. Thirdly, distribution, because they are being picked and they are being exported. I even know that avocado in New York and the suppliers we meet, avocado in Washington, D.C. is 100 shillings per avocado. You understand?
And how much do we sell it here for?
We sell at a throwaway price, sometimes 20 bob, 50 bob, isn't it? And then let me tell you what. I know an organization in the US which we worked with called Sebot. Sebot is the one in charge of trade. I can show you all details. It's in a model, City Moga. You know, the citizens don't want to know the complexity. They want to know the simplicity of them. That
Actually, I want to know the complexity because, as they say, the details, my friend.
The devil.
Why? Yes. The
devil is in the detail.
I deliberately didn't mention the devil. I just said the details for a very good reason.
Because you don't believe the devil is there.
No. See, now, the reason I'm talking about the details is this. I understand the idea. I understand what it can do. Why I'm asking about the details is for a very simple reason. There's something that we call community buy-in. Community buy-in is you have an idea, and the cultural practices comes in because the cultural practices represents a pilot. It is something that has been done, actually proof of concept rather than a pilot. It's something that has been done and proven and accepted over time. So what I hear the professor saying, you're building on this. Essentially, you're upgrading it. So the acceptability factor has more or less been taken care of.
Yeah.
But when you then inculcate new ideas and a new format, there has to be buy-in for that.
Yeah, so, City Munga, have Kenyans produced avocado and exported it?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So we are just now doing in large scale. For example, you go to Kisii. People produce tea in Kisii, isn't it? Do you know the problem in Kisii?
No.
Everybody in Kisii wants to be a tea farmer, and we have done research that you cannot produce profitably tea if you are under 5 acres. That's the truth. But everybody wants to have this land that is around 20 meters all the way to the river. You understand? Everybody wants to be my, isn't it?
Is that why they have these circles or these groupings? So that I may have my 50 by 100, but if there are 10 of us, the 50 by 100, and we're all growing tea and we act as a circle, we will produce what is requisite for that 5 particular
Well,
acres.
but you see now, without interfering with them, isn't it? We can make these things become a county issue. We call the thing commercial communal enterprises. Commercial communal enterprises, meaning that this is now for the community. That's why we are bringing the community at the epicenter, at the center of this conversation.
Okay.
In fact, there will be what we call the commercial community boards, not run by the county government. Not run by the national government. That community will be given a project to do. If they sink it, they sink for their generation.
But that community works within the county government. So how can the county
Well, you see, now there are always stakeholders whereby at least one person is involved, like let's say someone from the government is sitting in the board, because the government cannot be put out of this thing together. But it will be more controlled by the community.
So it's a private enterprise?
No, it's a communal enterprise. You know, people always see public, private, but also they can be communal. Because there's communal land. But there's no private land, there's no public land. There's public land, there's private land, but there's communal land. So this land we are creating for 50,000 acres will be communal land, run by the community boards, isn't it? But we will be looking to give them capital. Can you imagine if you're a president, by giving a county X amount of shillings, they'll be giving you revenue of 1.89 trillion per year. That's a relief. And after we even know the break-even period, how it will take
Prof,
place.
how do you arrive at 1.89 trillion?
I've given you the maths. Do this. Just take your pen, isn't it? 50,000 acres, each giving 2 people jobs per acre. That's 100,000 jobs, isn't it?
Yes.
100,000 times 9,000. Because in PAYE, when we pay you 30,000 shillings, 30% of that money is 9,000, isn't it? So that's PAYE. So now we take 100,000 times 100,000 times 9,000, isn't it? Times 12, because that is every year salary.
900,000 times 12.
Yes. So you multiply that by 42 counties, isn't it?
Yes.
You reach 1.89 trillion.
Okay.
It's what I'm trying to say. I'm not.
And this is I understand. The reason why I'm working off these details is because when you come up with a figure, if you start at the beginning, one then understands how you've arrived at the 1.9 trillion.
Yes, yeah.
It then becomes feasible.
Yeah.
9 trillion is too big a figure. I'm talking about myself to comprehend easily. But when you break it down, I then with something that.
And imagine, City, I have not even talked about other taxes you can get. I'm talking about PAYE. Just revenue too. When someone is getting a pay slip of 30,000, they pay a tax of 9,000, which is standard because I don't want to interfere with the tax system. The problem we had with the president, he was trying to change everything too soon, and it became chaos, and there was no model. Don't come and choke the system first. Come and put something in the system. Then now you can now start rationalizing. For example, if you say we want to lower the taxes from 30 to 25, isn't it? But first of all, we have put enough revenue to cover that if you lose. For example, if you lower your revenue from 20% tax, 30% taxes to 25, if you don't increase the volume, we are going to run a high volume state. Do you know why China is competitive in price of population? The quality of the population is very high. Allow me to explain this to you in simple terms. If you go to the US, 44% of Americans are called elite, isn't it? Upper class, isn't it? When you come, actually, 30% of Americans are upper class. 44% of Americans are middle class, isn't it? So that is taking you 74% of Americans are either upper class or middle class, leaving you the 26% struggling at the bottom, isn't it? Come to UK, middle class and upper class together constitute 68%, isn't it? Leaving 32% struggling at the bottom. Now let's come to Africa. In South Africa, 0.44% are upper class, isn't it? And then 16% are middle class. Now that is 17% average, isn't it?
Yes.
If you just take average.
Yeah. So 83 wako huku chini.
83 are struggling. It's like a rat is carrying the cross of an elephant. You understand? Come to Kenya. Kenya is slightly better than South Africa by those numbers, by the way. I'm shocking you. 27% of Kenyans can be put in middle class and upper class, leaving 73% of Kenyans down here. So this thing is supposed to lift the people who are, we call them the poor. The people who earn nothing.
This 73%
yes,
now.
Come to the middle class and grow the middle class to have a diamond model. What's a diamond model? In economics, diamond model means that the upper is slightly thin, isn't it? The middle is fat, isn't it? Then the lower is thin. That's a diamond model. It's also used in football. When you want to win a football match, isn't it?
Yeah.
You put a thinner defense strike, isn't it? You fatten the middle, isn't it? Then you can narrow a little bit at the end where there's only a goalkeeper. That diamond model, when you're attacking and coming back, always works. So it's an economic model that has worked even for Singapore, if you like. It's worked for Japan. It's worked for Korea. Can you imagine? When I was walking the streets of New York, isn't it? You know, I saw these other people walking there. I don't think they walk the way I walked. For me, I was walking, studying something very important. I saw somebody saying he walked there, the streets of New York, he's so safe, so he wishes Kenyans are safe. No, he saw the wrong thing. When you walk in the streets of New York, my brother, Munala, do you imagine that the things we do in Nairobi exactly are done in New York? So what's the difference? People sell samosa on the streets. Go check. UK, go anywhere in the world. Samosa,
so
sausages. There are drivers who drive school buses. There are drivers who drive public services. There are waiters, there are waiteresses, there are nurses, there are doctors. Same, isn't it? What's the difference? Is the buying power of the people in the street. Here, you can sell smokies on the street, but mtu akona njaa lakini anapita. Why hana pesa? When you ensure you build a strong middle class where people have money, people just put a card into the machine, you get your money. Here, kila mtu anafanya kile tunasema kwa Kijaluo single dog. Single dog, you are not single dog. Someone tells you, mimi mwalimu nitalipa next week. Sivyo?
Nipatie tu size.
Waacha tu mtoto aingie nitalipa nini next week. That will happen in January, isn't it? The same person goes to a sock and says, nipatie tu omena nitalipa. He goes again to boda. Nibebe tu nitalipa. So you find a chain of 9 people that if the 9th person is not paid, you won't be paid. That's what the government is doing. Pending bills is creating the same thing. Somebody worked for the county government or worked for national government. Yes. He was not paid. Sasa what he has done, I'm a single doge throughout.
Prof,
isn't it?
I just want to interrupt you briefly, not to contradict. For our listeners to understand, by the time you are being given a contract to provide a service, that money has been budgeted for.
Yes.
Which means it is available.
Yeah.
You do the work, you are not paid. But we still find that money isn't there, because if it was there, then there'd be no what? Pending bills.
Yeah.
They'd be settled.
City, I'm sorry, let me tell you this.
Yes.
This is the most heartbreaking thing that I've ever seen in my country, Kenya.
Yes.
I'm an economist. There's what called fast charge.
It's like these debts that we pay these foreign entities.
When you are a CS for Treasury or as a president, you pay fast charge. Fast charge is debt. Go to the Treasury, this there. I was working with Kibaki as an economist advisor. We did fast charge. That brought what's called economic multiply effect. When people are starting businesses, people are being paid. Anybody who worked was paid. So I've told you, when I was in New York, the only difference was some people are being paid. In New York, here we are not being paid. Here it's all kusingo doge. And I take you to something remarkable, which is the heartbreaking thing I was talking about. City Muga, as an economist, you cannot have 2 problems. You cannot have pending bills problem and debt at the same time. Let me explain this to the listeners. Let's assume, Munala, you are a husband at home. Let me assume you are one.
I am one, yes.
You and your wife figure out that your monthly budget is 200K, isn't it? Then you discover that your total income is 120,000, so you have a deficit of 80,000.
True.
Then you agree together to go and take a loan and say, let's take a loan of 80,000 to fill the gap of 80,000 so that everybody is paid, isn't it?
Yes.
So your house is paid. If you have a driver, they are paid. If the children need to do their salon, are paid. Your wife's hair is done. Your church, sadakas, your tithes, everything is done, isn't it? Then the next month, what happens is that you took the 80,000 shillings as debt, isn't it?
Yes.
Which you and your wife should be paying every month, isn't it? But then your household is not paid, isn't it? You understand?
Yes.
The person who supplies sukuma to your house is not paid. The guy who brings for you milk is not paid. The guy who brings honey is not paid. What have you done? You've stolen the money. That's the only way to explain it. Because you cannot be able to have borrowed money to pay house help, so you have a debt to pay, and at the same time you have a pending bills to pay. There must be theft. There's no another way to look at it.
True.
And for me, I would ask the CS Treasury to sit here to explain to us how a budget is passed in Parliament and all tenders in government reads by the following. Ask anybody. I've worked with the Public Disposal Act, isn't it? Procurement Disposal Act.
Yes.
It is a law that when you are tendering anything, the opening clauses are that radio generation has set aside a budget to procure your services. It must be in the contract, isn't it? And all the Kenyans who are dying for poverty, like now there's no Christmas going on anywhere. People who awarded tenders have not been paid. They have taken money from other people to do the work. They are going to be paid. Tell them, let them check their contract. It's written there. The government of Kenya, in the Ministry of Housing, has set aside 20 billion to procure your services to do 1, 2, 3, and will be paid as soon as you submit the ticket. Work done, ticket paid. Actually called certificate. You issue, the certificate is paid. That's what it's called, the certificate of completion.
Right.
You've completed this phase, you're paid. Let me tell you what I've told you here. We are losing 4 billion shillings to corruption every day. During Uhuru, it was 2. billion. Ruto has increased to 4 billion. The next president should reduce it to 0. You understand? And I've told you how to do it, isn't it?
There's a question here from a listener. They're asking, this is Sonet Anuluda, Professor, our governors are obstacles in organizing their counties as economic zones and lack the fundamentals of creating employment. Too much reliance on the national government. How I'm understanding this is this model looks very beautiful. Yeah. But what happens when you encounter governors who are not willing to comply?
You see, what's happening is that why are they not complying?
For whatever reason, political, otherwise.
No. Mm-hmm. The person who should set the example cannot set the example. Let me give you a simple example in my house. Before people go to bed, we all kneel down when there's a small rosary and there's a cross in front of us, and we all pray, isn't it? Now, I have a daughter who is 4 years. If I don't kneel, Daddy, you don't kneel? That's the question. They follow what you do, not what you say. So when you have a president, isn't it, who, for the lack of a better word, isn't it, isn't not complying, who should enforce and compliance? That's I told you, to cure the corruption, yes. Isn't it? The day I'm sworn in as president, isn't it, I will go and ask myself, I'll take the Bible first and said, I'll never receive money from anyone to do any service. Then the next person taking that oath is the deputy president, isn't it? If I take that oath, it is taken by the CDF, isn't it? It's taken by Inspector General. After all these have taken over, as we form government, after being appointed as a CS,
all right.
Before you take the oath of that office of being CS, you take this oath first. Once you take that oath, there's nothing like you are taking me to court if you are arrested for stealing, because you took this oath yourself, isn't it? That's how to kill corruption. Mambo ya IECC hakuna, ati court system hakuna. I heard something very silly, sorry to say silly, from Maraga. When Maraga was asked, you will cure corruption when you are Chief Justice, why was file still getting lost in judiciary? Then he said it's complex, isn't it? What's complex? CJ, a Chief Justice.
Is it not complex?
It is not complex.
Why?
He didn't want to do it. And let me tell you now, I'm sorry now, so I'll have to throw some salvos today, isn't it? Because you're throwing them at me. But I'm not offending. Do you know, I've heard people talking about how Maraga is stickler of the law, how he can solve the Kenyan problem.
Yes.
Amesema yeye ni mkatiba atatibu Kenya, isn't it? Let me give you, I have evidence. First, who was the judge who acquitted William Ruto for the death in Kiamba? Who is that judge? It's Maraga. Until EACC wrote, and I can give you a document.
Yes.
EACC said that the reason why they are now taking over the case because Kenya is incapable of giving Kenyan justice is a judge has acquitted somebody when there is glaring evidence. You get me?
Professor.
So I'm just trying to tell you, it's not complex, my brother. When the head is straight, the other parts of the body is straight. But so if I'm a president and I'm the one who is corrupt, how can a county governor be compliant? Before
we forget this Maraga issue, I'm under the impression that judgments are made according to evidence presented and how the prosecution, the lawyers argue. There was
glaring evidence. I have a document I'll share with you where all the evidence was there not to acquit, but he did acquit. Another one, because that can be isolated, isn't it?
Okay.
There was an MP who was killed. He was killed by Kisi. The Kisi related to Maraga, isn't it? That guy was acquitted. Who killed an MP? I also have the case filed with me. I do my research.
But Prof,
let me just continue.
We also do our research, and we understand and we hear what you're saying. But a judge cannot. Or are you saying that there are judges, and you're giving Maraga as an example, who even when there's evidence before them, they ignore that evidence and give a judgment that is contrary?
Yes, so I'm saying he did.
Why was that case then not appealed?
So if the Chief Justice is the one who is acquitting people where there's glaring evidence.
Glaring according to whom? This one I have to ask.
No, but you see, there's always a legal opinion.
Who determines the threshold of that evidence?
After every case, City, always there's a legal opinion given, isn't it? By the legal professionals, isn't it? Who are unbiased, but talk about the merits and demerits.
A legal opinion may
So looking at it, everything Maraga said did not exist in the case. Someone says actually this evidence was produced.
Did anyone appeal this case?
Now let me tell you, my brother.
Yeah.
You know what happens in this country. Do you know I've been arrested 12 times?
You have been arrested.
Appealing, isn't it? I've been arrested. I've been celled for 12 times. See, I've been there. City, you know this. Just go and check on YouTube. Fred Ogola arrested. You'll see over 20 clips, isn't it?
Okay.
And the last time I left the Central Police. Why I am now okay, because after being dismissed from Strathmore, the Catholic Church took me and gave me the position of DVC.
Okay.
Now, DVC, by the Kenyan law, isn't it, is like a VIP, isn't it?
Okay.
I cannot be arrested just being put in the cell. I can be asked to appear in court or appear in the police station. That's when it stopped.
Okay.
But 12 times, I was being arrested like 2 weeks. I have to confess here that my mother-in-law came and took my wife and my kids because he saw that there was chaos. City, we've gone through a lot. And my wife left last year in October 4th, went to Voi. I struggled until February to bring them back because the parents said, no, you're putting my grandchildren in risk. Leave fighting the government. But I stood for it until today. I went to Voi, sat with my in-laws for 2 weeks there, explaining myself and said, I believe in this, but I love my family. Yes. Isn't it? It's only when this appointment came, they stopped arresting me. When we tell you, well, we get threatened. We get threatened like now. Yes. I can tell you many cases.
Do you have something particularly against the president of this country?
No, I love my country. And I see he's not helping my country go it's going. It's not about hate. Right. And let me explain to you, City Muga.
Let's discuss this.
Love,
since you're here,
love is a more powerful force more than hate.
Prof, since you're here, let's discuss this thing. And it's a good day to discuss this.
Yeah.
There are many people who dislike the president. Not the government, the president.
Yeah.
How I know this is because of the narratives that I hear, I read, that are directed at the person of the president. Perhaps there are things that these individuals have encountered at the hands of the individual and not the government, and so they have reason for what it is that they do. When we refer to the government, we often refer to the executive.
Yeah.
Okay? And we refer to the power that the executive in this country has had in our history. Sometimes we speak as though we don't even have a new constitution that actually limits these powers. And the reason is because since the promulgation, beginning with President Uhuru, we saw how presidents disregard the law.
Yeah.
How presidents disregard court rulings completely, just disregard them completely. How we saw individuals like Matiang'i, who now want to be presidents, disregarding the same law. So here we are. Within any government, from everything that I have observed over time, I am shy and I am reticent to say that the president knows everything that happens. Why? Because I have seen people who are in proximity to power doing things that the president may not even be aware of. The thing hits him later that this is what happened.
Yeah.
And they'll claim they're doing it on behalf. But part of the reason is because these people tend to have a certain free ticket to do certain things because of the things that they purportedly do on behalf of the president. Now, here we find ourselves. You are a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
It is important that we understand what you want to do. Too many people who want to do who want the position you want, tell us about the ills of this particular president and his government. Every government in this country has perpetrated ills that if that were the case, even the ones who have died should have been jailed before they actually passed away.
Yeah.
Again, here we are. We need to hear what you want to do that is different. These people have harmed you and they have wronged you. You are a man who understands what the good book teaches and what the faith you subscribe to teaches. the element of forgiveness must be brought to bear. You cannot lead a country if you are angry, if you are bitter, because then you will be vengeful.
Yeah.
You will not be a good leader.
Yeah.
The brain you have is useful. Let us hear what you want to do and what you want to do different. It's important. Don't let it get lost in this conversation of what has happened.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So that's why actually, City, I was telling you why we are talking about him, because he asked me a question on this corruption. They are telling you now that's what happens when you have a leader who knows what he wants. I gave you the example of my family. Simple thing like every time before people go to bed, you're at home. City, do you know how hard it is to keep that promise? That today daddy did not come, isn't it? I only miss when I'm out of town, isn't it? And by keeping that thing happening for the family every day, that every time they sleep around 7:30, in between there, you kneel down with them and pray with them. That is discipline that brings everything. I got it from my father, where there were some things which were not negotiable. There are things about God, you can't negotiate about it. You can't say, I'm traveling on Sunday. That traveling will be cancelled because Sunday you should go to church. Unless you tell him, I'll begin with the 6 o'clock mass, then I'll travel, or I reach Mombasa, I'll have an evening mass. You must explain it. So the leadership will solve the issue of governance, isn't it? Secondly, let me tell you where LDP comes in. To solve the governor issue.
Yes.
Now, as I speak, I have somebody called Dr. Karangu. Isn't it? He comes from Nyahururu. He's running for Nyandarua governor. He is a president of students in Vancouver, Canada. The other day we were him at home, isn't it? That's a technocrat. So LDP is run by technocrats. We will not do nomination, no primaries.
Yes.
We will pick people who believe in the ideology of LDP. Ideology here, we don't go manifesto. Let a governor tell me his prototype for that place. If he cannot buy the prototype we are selling on how to create 100,000 jobs in Nyahururu or Nyandarua, let him tell us another one. Once we agree on it, he becomes the governor candidate for us. We don't look for someone who is popular, someone who is rich. We look for who has got the right idea.
Okay.
We better fail with the person who has the right idea than succeed with someone who will spoil our name after being governor. So as president, first of all, selection.
Okay.
When I was a professor in Strathmore,
Right.
I gave a strategy for the university. And I said, our strategy will be student selection. Select the right student who can make impact in society. That's why you heard me mentioning the people I've mentored. We selected the right people. Train them. Now they are running key institutions. They are making impact, isn't it? So if you have the wrong governors, for example, look at what happened in Mbeere, isn't it? You pick someone who does wash, give him a ticket to become an MP, isn't it? How will parliament look like, isn't it? You pick somebody who has been known to be drugs, isn't it?
Yep.
He's a drug warlord. You give him a party ticket because he has money and is connected to finance your campaign. No, we don't start like that. So things go wrong. They don't start wrong. So we are going to ensure that we do a proper selection of who are going to run for our seats. You hear now in Nairobi here, somebody was vying for governor. He has no certificate, isn't it? Now you start explaining how they got these degrees, isn't it? Like now, you know, in Nairobi, there's a problem whereby somebody is an MP. I don't want to mention their names because that's not my issue. I'm giving an example. He, in Parliament website, he has a degree from KEMU, isn't it? You understand?
Yes.
But in high school, he got an E. Isn't it?
All right.
Explain to me how you move from an E to a degree in university. You know, E is not a degree. E means you didn't even do the course. Do you know what E means? E, you don't even get a certificate. You don't even do high school if you get an E. Actually, that's what it means.
No, Prof. You have to attend school for you to be in the role, for them to know what you did or did not do in the exam.
Yeah, anyway, that's what I can accept, City. What I'm trying to say is that meritocracy is what has developed countries, isn't it? We must start by selection of a party.
Okay.
Because argument is, if you cannot run well a political party with a funding of 100 million, isn't it? Can you run a nation which has 5 billion or 5 trillion budget? You can't.
Professor, let me ask you.
It starts from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, what you're saying is it's amazing because we are also going with the assumption that LDP will capture all the gubernatorial seats. and maybe not, but there's also the other issue of parliament. All these 300 plus MPs nominated, plus women rep and all those elected ones. How will you deal with them? Because they can also decide that they will stop you in your tracks. And what you have told us, and this is also assuming that you actually clinch the presidency. So once you clinch, if Kenyans decide to elect you, but they elect a githeri mixture of MPs, how will you deal with that as well?
There is Kibaki. Let me tell you what. There are so many excuses we can have, isn't it? Jesus began with 12 apostles, isn't it? The whole system was rotten, but he worked. I'm a child of the church, isn't it? And I believe there are ways around it, isn't it? The first thing is that yourself, are you straight?
Yes, I am.
If you are not straight, you cannot do things straight. And the guys will look at your weakness and capitalize on them. When they tell the president, for us to pass a bill, you have to pay us, isn't it? Because he knows the president is being paid elsewhere, but he's not giving them. So how can they eat the money? I'll give an example. There's a time I went for dinner in a house of one of my friends in Karen. He was a CS by that time, isn't it? I'm not saying I ate man, but he was a corrupt fellow. But he was my friend. And I went for dinner just because there was something very important that I wanted to go share with him. So when we were sitting at dinner, the son came and said, Daddy, can you give me 150,000 shillings at travel for holiday with this money to Mombasa with my friends? Then the father asked, where do I get money from? Then the boy showed his father the front page newspaper. But they're saying here you have stolen 20 billion. You get me? What do you get from there? Is that they are knowing the father is not straight. The father has stolen 20 billion. Just give me a share of what you have stolen. You get me? So it starts from the head. I don't know how much I have to explain this. Secondly, there's Kibaki reign, a government that was controlled by Raila. How did he achieve his dream? We can talk about excuses. Am I wrong? The Speaker of National Assembly was Malindi. That was an ODM speaker, isn't it? How did he maneuver and deliver the economic vision? So we can give excuses. And let me tell you what, my brother. Excuses can only paralyze you. I told you where I was born. I was born in Kivra. I'm a global professor. How did I get there? I had all excuses to give, isn't it? I actually have so many. My problem is that we have a culture of execution. When we are talking about manufacturing in Kenya to become Singapore, isn't it? We have flickering electricity in Kenya. We have people who are manufacturing in that whole area. How are you supporting them? Can I guess that radio generation has a generator?
The building has a generator.
Why should you have a generator? Do you know it's an extra cost? Cost of doing business goes up. If you go to Europe, go check houses with generators. There's almost none. Because it's reliable electricity. Can we just start by offering reliable electricity? And I can tell you, the solution is right there, isn't it? This grid needs to be upgraded. When we are generating the money I'm talking about, you can upgrade the grid. Just ensure that every investor coming to Kenya do not have the headache of cost of electricity. It's affecting even household. You buy a token, all of a sudden disappeared, isn't it? How much of your money goes into paying generator, fuel, and diesel? It's more than the unit for electricity. Let's start from there, basic things. So I've told you, don't fly to Singapore. Just first of all, fly 2 hours to Johannesburg, isn't it? Of course, they have load shedding. They call load shedding.
Load shedding. Yes.
Load shedding where
they have electricity issues also.
Yeah, so they have. But imagine they have, and they are very much advanced. You know, the per capita income for that country is higher than Kenya. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's a culture of execution. When you want to do something, you should do it. Imagine the president is traveling too much. He has no time to sit in office. That's why I told you, when I become president, you must sit in Arambe House, isn't it? Somebody can come and book an appointment with the secretary and see you, isn't it? The current State House has got 4 gates, isn't it? There's gate A that you pass through the formal system. It can take 1 year. Isn't it? No. Go and write to Henry Kosgei, to Felix Kosgei, asking him to have an appointment with the president, isn't it? It will take you long. But there's a shortcut. There's a gate you pay, and you can be in hours, isn't it? That's true.
What do you mean pay?
No. If you want to go to see those people,
the president, yes.
Yeah, you pay money.
Who do you pay?
That the Hawaii State House expanded with some rooms, all these things. No, there are some things that...
Prof. If you make statements that you cannot substantiate, then we have to stop.
I can't substantiate because I know people...
Then don't make them.
The brokers, that if you want to see someone, we know these things, my brother.
Prof.
These are things that...
If you cannot substantiate something, then don't say it.
But City, it is something that has actually been said.
Let me tell you. Something that has been said, then say it.
Yes.
That it is said.
But he says that he knows.
He's speaking as... No. This is a show that is in the public domain.
Yes.
If you know something, then you talk about what I have heard, okay? But when I ask for substantiation, you need to be able to substantiate. If you can't, I am saying, then don't say it.
Can you explain to me why the president is not in office? Official office of the president.
I have absolutely no idea.
So then if I tell you the reason why is that, let me stay in State House, it's a protected area. Can you have a president whose office is a protected area where you cannot enter, while Harambee office is not protected?
I will support Prof, but you use an example that is actually out there, and it's something that you can actually check. But it's a Zimbabwean example. There's a personal assistant to the president of Zimbabwe, the current president, Honorable Mnangagwa. The PA was caught on camera by Al Jazeera journalists soliciting for a bribe so that certain people could have access to the president.
Yes.
And it was to the tune of $200,000. This is just access fee. So the president was not necessarily directly implicated, but his PA told these individuals that wanted to go and see that president, nipatieni 200,000 ndawapatia nafasi mwende mkone rais. So if that can happen in a country like Zimbabwe, I do not see why it cannot happen in this country.
I've told you I have economic solutions for this country, isn't it?
And
I am willing, isn't it, to have this conversation, not to work for government, isn't it? But have this conversation. Let me say, suppose you were the one, and you want to go to see the president. Can you tell me the process to see him?
The president of Kenya?
Yes. You have to write to
why would I want to see the president?
I'm saying, suppose you have something to tell him.
Yes.
Isn't it?
I'm assuming I have to go to Harambee House, request to see him.
No, you have to write a letter.
Why would I want to see
You have to write a letter to Felix Kosgei and request.
Okay.
Isn't it?
All right.
I've told you, I've written a letter to Treasury to solve the problem, isn't it? No one is getting back to me.
No,
isn't it?
You have written to offer a solution, not to solve a problem. Those are two very different things. When you offer a solution, you have something that you believe would be able to solve a problem that currently exists. It is not to say that they themselves do not have the same idea as you. Neither do we know why it is you are not able to present your idea. Prof, there's something I'm trying to say here.
In short,
what I'm trying to say here, Prof, is this. When you are speaking to the public as you are now, the things you say must be substantive. It is your own personal view. Say, this is my view on the subject, so we know it is your view. But when you state it as though it's a given fact, it isn't a given fact. He gave an example of something that was filmed. We hear all manner of crazy things that people do, people who ask for bribes, individuals who take money to offer positions in government. We hear these things all the time. I do not have credible evidence, so I never talk about it.
So let me tell you, I fly to Sudan, isn't it? South Sudan, and I meet the president, isn't it? Easily.
No bribes given.
What I'm saying, I never gave.
Yes.
I've met Kagame, isn't it? Easily. I decided to host a conference in Kigali because here I tried to reach everybody in government to do it here. I failed. I can show you letters written, isn't it, with excuses why we can't do it, isn't it? These are evidence. So, City, I have tried to do. Tell me now exactly how to do it with you in public here, how I can do it. If you don't know how I can do it, you can't criticize me because I've tried to do it. Fred Ogola, I'm listening to rumors, isn't it?
Prof, that is
I wanted to host a conference called Aheti to solve healthcare here. It ended up in Kigali. Because the guys who are told me, Bana, you are not even meeting these people. How can we trust you? isn't it? And I tried. It was sponsored by the Jesuit community in Kigali. It was on 2nd of January, 2nd to 3rd, 2024.
Okay.
It is there. It is evidence. There's videos and photos. How should a Kenyan go and host a conference in Kigali? And let me tell you what the challenges I had. When you book a conference in the Kigali,
KICC.
the convention center there.
Or in Kigali, okay. Uh-huh.
Do you know that you pay for internet? 250,000
Kenyan shillings.
Yes, in KICC is free. Would I go pay 250,000 shillings in Kigali when I can do it here for free? Would I have to travel, carry a team, media team, everything to Kigali when I can do it here?
Okay.
While City here is telling me I should believe him that I have no evidence that there is no way to access these people. I'm asking you, Kenyans listening to me, if I'm wrong, tell me how you can see somebody who lives in a protected area where you cannot go to that gate, but it is your citizen you have elected, and is creating no mechanism whatsoever to be accessed. So what I'll do different, I'll ensure there's office hours, that no one needs to be given money, if at all, or even if there's no one being given money, I'll show Kenyans how to access their president, isn't it? You must be in office around 9 to around maybe 2 p.m., isn't it? Somebody can go and book an appointment with the secretary, isn't it? And that must be a policy, isn't it?
Yes.
When you book the appointment and it's given, it should be done, isn't it?
Okay.
Now, the issue is now, how do you screen so that even not everybody coming with nothing to offer, isn't it? So there should be a screening process, isn't it? How you reach there. If you can meet the head of the UN that serves over 187 states, isn't it? Why not meet a president who is only one state? You understand? I was in New York. I went to the UN Security Council headquarters. I was there within 3 days. I was given an appointment.
Yes.
I went there to explain to them what I think about how the global financial architecture needs to be changed, isn't it? In Kenya, sometimes even meeting an MCA is difficult. Forget about the president, because you might think I have something personal with him. How do you meet your MCA? Maybe if there's a funeral, isn't it? In a funeral, they come with protocol, isn't it? Sometimes meeting an MP is a difficult thing. Sometimes meeting just a member of parliament. This is a culture we are creating which is unnecessary. That you have to create a facade. Have you seen me come with the driver here? Have you seen Kagame driving himself in Kigali? Isn't it? Has it stopped him from being a president? So we create so many barriers for people for nothing, and that's why the state is too expensive. One person, look at how many vehicles that carry the presidential escort. Did you see the day of Jamhuri Day?
Prof,
you saw that.
No.
Do you need to travel like you are in a country of war?
Prof, you have
what I'm
time
trying to say,
to talk
this
about
country
the
needs
policies
disruption.
that LDP would have. You're focusing your attention on the ills of the president. Let me repeat what I told you earlier on. I live in this country. I see the things you see. There are things you've experienced I've never experienced. And we are grateful to hear them. I want to know what LDP is going to do, Prof.
So I've told you one, which is importantly.
Yes.
LDP is the only party that can unite Kenyans without tribe, because that's what we don't sell.
All right.
Isn't it? Every party we have here, you can put them to a region. LDP, you cannot put us to any region. It's done by technocrats, isn't it? We also said there's no nomination because we have seen that there is no political party in Kenya that has got a power to hold free and fair primaries. Can I give an example? I saw last time UDA did the grassroots election and they spent 100 million shillings, isn't it?
Yes.
How can we do a national election in Kenya with 46 billion to IBC? Is there any party that can mobilize 46 billion? So Liberal Democrats, we are very clear that we shall take people who believe in the manifesto. Why are we doing this? With the Labour Party in UK, for example, they train you, they mentor you until you become a Labour. That's why we have conservatives, we have liberals, and you are a liberal by even what you believe in.
Yes.
So we will be talking about a party that people believe in its own ideology. So it will be an ideological party. Is a party you want to grow to be as long as ANC? ANC is 117 years old, isn't it? How do you know any party in Kenya which is 100 years? maybe Kanu, for reasons we don't understand, isn't it?
It's not even 100. Kanu was born after.
Well, I'm just trying to say maybe.
Yeah. Sure.
But I don't want to dismiss everybody, isn't it?
Yes.
So we will be such a party. Secondly, I've told you we are going to focus on prototypes. Prototypes are actual things you can do, isn't it? Thirdly, we will be very much concerned about running the party technocratically.
Right.
And technocratically means that we want to attract professionals. Like now, a city. People ask me, Professor, why do you join dirty politics? We want to show Kenyans that politics is not dirty. But politics is done by dirty people, isn't it? That does not make politics dirty. So can we make politics clean by now bringing people who are clean to LDP to play politics which is not dirty? Like people ask me, do you have goons? I tell them, no, I don't need goons, isn't it? Why don't I need goons? My brother, I've taught 1 million executives, isn't it? These are professionals.
Right.
Yesterday, I was giving a keynote speech in a graduation where I was invited by a owner of a college, isn't it? He sees me as a presidential candidate, but he allows me to talk about academia. I talk to doctors, I talk to nurses, I talk to bankers, I talk to insurance leaders. They should be the people who can say, let's support Professor. Can't they mobilize? Yes, they can mobilize.
Right.
I'm a church boy, isn't it? What if the Catholic Church says they want to support me? Because they can't tell me they leave me and support a non-Catholic and then tell me they believe in Catholicism, isn't it? Okay. Because if they don't believe on a Catholic being president, then they should have even abandoned the Catholic faith and joined Protestant, for example.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right.
But I'm not just within the Catholic Church. Our bishops in Kibra here, the day I came from the US, I was given Thanksgiving Mass church in service in Kibra with 100 pastors and bishops.
Okay.
I went to Ruiru. They raised an altar to pray for me to become president, isn't it? These are pastors who come from Mount Kenya. Now, actually, the people they call my pastor and my spiritual guide actually is a Kikuyu pastor from Ruiru.
Okay. So
these churches where people are full, can't they mobilize? When I was campaigning in Kenya City, Moga discovered...
Prof, we have I'll literally allow you 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I'm trying to say we'll mobilize using the church, using the professionals, and also using the youth who wants change for this country, the Gen Zs. If they see my policies attractive to them, they can join me and can win. So LDP will be more of solutions driven, but not creating other problems by creating new things and confusing the system. We'll be taking the problems Kenyans have and solve them, because the president is meant to solve the problem that affects his people.
Prof, let me commend you, because when you came here, you've spoken about policy and the plans that you have for Kenyans as opposed to attacking, but you've mentioned a few people here and there. However, let me commend you that this is perhaps the kind of politics we need to have, and we wish you all the best in this particular quest.
Yes.
Rest assured, you have a space here to come and talk about how you will uplift Kenyans. Do you have any message for them as far as Christmas is concerned?
Fellow Kenyans, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. The most important thing is stay with your family. Have hopes. Let us not be told that the elections for 2017 decided. God is going to give you a leader, because your cries have been heard by God in God's ears, just like He heard the Israelites' cries. Your salvation is coming, but it's you have to play your part and pay the price of getting the right leader. The leader will not fall from heaven. It is you who must pay a price and fast for one night and get the right leader so that you can be fed for 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor.